Now we are going to discuss important highlights of 122 Constitution Amendment Bill 2014, which is placed before Parliament on 19 December 2014. In terms of Article 366(12)(a), GST, Goods and Services Tax, means any taxes on supply of goods or services or both, except alcoholic liquor for human consumption, meaning thereby only alcoholic liquor GST will not be applicable, but a new term, on supply of. So meaning thereby the concept of manufacture, sell, transfer of property in goods or rendering of services will go away. GST would be applicable on supply, and the term supply is not defined in 122 Constitution Amendment Bill. What is the meaning of goods in terms of Article 366(12)? Goods includes all material, commodities and articles. This is how the goods is being defined. Goods includes, before defining goods, they say goods includes all material, commodities and articles. So what is the meaning of service now in terms of Article 366(26)(a)? Service means anything other than goods. That is what the definition given. So whatever the definition of service we have learned under service tax regime, which is very first time given from 1st July 2012, is going to be diluted, and service means anything other than goods. So it is too wide a definition for service. So we have understood what is goods and what is services, and GST means taxes on supply of goods or services or both. In terms of Article 246(a), both central and state can legislate the law pertaining to their CGST and SGST, meaning thereby there would be one CGST law and there would be multiple SGST law from individual state perspective. They can formulate, they can legislate the provision. At the same time, 269(a) article talks about that Central would be empowered to levy taxes on interstate trade or commerce. So what is trade or commerce? Nowhere defined. As we have seen, they have defined what is goods, what is services, but 269(a) says IGST, for interstate trade or commerce, central government will levy taxes. At the same time, there would be additional tax of 1% for a period of 2 years or extended by GST Council on interstate supply of goods, of which no credit would be available to a buying dealer. So that would be cascading. So when we talk about interstate trade or commerce, meaning thereby GST would be applicable on import of goods or services. Now question comes, who will collect the tax? Because GST is a destination based consumption tax. For service, it is very important for all of us. Today, service tax is given by central government. So there is no problem whether you provide service in Delhi or you provide service in Bangalore, or you provide service sitting in Delhi to Mumbai for a contract signed at Bangalore. There is no problem. But when GST will come into the picture, there would be CGST and SGST, and state will start charging GST on services. So place of supply rules is very important to be determined for the chargeability of GST on services, interstate supply of services. Goods can be physically measured, but service is an item which need to be understood from the perspective of destination-based consumption tax, though place of provision of services rule 2012 was a precursor towards GST, but this place of supply rules is an important one for the chargeability of GST on interstate supply of services. Now coming to Article 279A. GST Council to be formed by President under chairmanship of Honorable Finance Minister, and member would be the Minister of State, Finance Minister, and all the Finance Minister of State would be the member, wherein 1/3 weighted quorum would be of central government, 2/3 would be coming from state government, and decision of GST Council would be by recommendation. It is not compulsory, by recommendation, and it would be decided by majority, means 75% majority. What GST Council is going to be decide? They are going to decide what are the goods going to come in under GST scenario, though it is clear-cut mentioned GST applicable on supply of goods or services except alcoholic liquor, but at the same time there is a petroleum product on which GST will not be applicable till the time and date decided by GST Council, meaning thereby within GST there would be existing taxes applicable even on petroleum product, and GST would be applicable from the date decided by GST Council. Threshold exemption, excise exemption up to 1.5 crore, service tax 10 lakh rupees, under that different threshold exemption by different state. There need to be uniform threshold exemption for which consensus need to be created. What would be revenue neutral rate? Today if you look at goods, 12.36 majorly excise duty and 12.5% VAT, and then you got octroi or some entry tax around 27 to 8% indirect taxes levied on goods. When we look at services, presently 12.36 is applicable. So we have to see what would be the revenue neutral rate. This need to be decided by GST Council, and this Council will give the recommendation to central and state government. At the same time, this GST Council is also going to decide and formulate GST bylaws, provisions and rules. So GST Council is being given and empowered with number of items need to be decided, but their decision would be only by way of recommendation. It is not compulsory. So having understood the important line item in 122 Constitution Amendment Bill 2014, which is placed before Parliament on 19 December 2014, we still find number of issues are wide open for discussion. Let's see, wait and watch how these things are being decided. So we are also having multiple open issues even after this 122 Constitution Amendment Bill. Now we are going to discuss those open issues which need to be considered by central government and state government, and they have to take trade and commerce in their deliberation of best GST law, so that we can say we have come out one of the best GST provision in the country. Open issues for GST. We all want to look at the GST law and rules and provisions. What kind of GST law would be coming? As we have said, it would be decided by GST Council, but we want uniformity. Uniformity from the perspective of registration, date of payment, return filing, assessment, appellate procedure, input tax credit. Let's see, wait and watch. We have to see what are the taxes going to be subsumed in GST. We have to see what are the goods are exempted from GST scenario. That is what we need to understand. And at the same time, we have to look at what are the threshold exemption amount in GST, because presently excise exemption 1.5 crore, service tax 10 lakh, and multiple threshold exemption given by different state under the VAT provision. We have to see how we can pass on, carry forward the credit, standard credit or VAT credit in GST scenario. We have to look at carry forward of existing exemption under excise or sales tax, like excise free zone or sale tax exemption being undertaken in GST scenario. We have to look at how stock transfer would be dealt in GST scenario. Because stock transfer where the GST would be applicable, if we read any taxes on supply of goods, it means on stock transfer GST would be applicable, but we have to see, wait and watch. Presently on stock transfer, except excise duty, sale tax is not applicable. Then we have to see the export related benefit, deemed export related benefit, how these benefits would be given in GST scenario. So having understood all this open item, we all are willing and want to contribute for the biggest indirect tax reform in the country since independence of the country. Let's see what are the things coming out from the government side. This 122 Constitution Amendment Bill is placed before Parliament. They are going to deliberate. At the same time, we have to contribute with our feedback and suggestion. So if you have any doubt, any query which you want to understand, please mail it to me. We will take it further with the respective government, and then we will try to deliberate on the subject matter and see as a whole we can bring best GST law in the country. Thank you. Thank you very much.